all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites. How we doing today? Hopefully we are doing fine. Oh, thank you, Steve. So what it is, good sisters and peeps. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for kicking off the contributions. Oh, please one of my mods, do me a huge favor and put the ash kicking link in the chat for me, please. Please. I like to have that. Oh, Terenzo already did it. Thank you so much. I like to have that pinned to the top of the chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I got the best mods. Okay. So I wanted to talk about a conversation that was had on the channel Hardly Initiated. They've been having some pretty good conversations. They had Dr. Umar on there a little while ago. They had a follow-up conversation where they gave divestors a platform. That was interesting. And but today, this show did not air today. I think it aired yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And this was three women who sort of told their stories about why they called off engagements. And as you hear some of these stories, I want to know if you hear what I hear. And I got some things for the ladies. This is going to be a very informative show. We're going to extrapolate some lessons out of what we're hearing. We're going to bust a few bubbles, if you will. Because I heard a lot of sidestepping. I heard a lot of accountability dodging. I heard a lot of foolishness. I heard foolishness. Some things you could I have empathy for, I understand, right? Some things I understand, because before I get into this, what we're about to see proves the things that I talk about. Calling off an engagement is stupid to me. Why? Why, Crimson? Why would calling off an engagement be stupid? Because whatever it is that popped up to make you decline a man's engagement, and when I say call off, I mean she accepted that engagement and then was like, nah, I don't think we should get married. The reason why I think that that's stupid 9 times out of 10 is because whatever issue popped up that made you say, no, I can't do that, I bet you those issues existed well prior to him asking for your hand in marriage. Well prior to. Because there ain't no way, especially when you hear these stories, they admit to seeing problematic behavior that they didn't necessarily like, but for one reason or another decided that they were going to be in this relationship anyway. So when we talking about major red flags, those red flags was there, and it was there for men and women. See, it be capped when you be in relationships for a minute. When you be in relationships for a minute, you get to see who that person actually is if you paying attention. And I'm saying this with the understanding that you can get caught up with people. You can get caught up with people. You can get caught up trying to deal with people. But my caution is that you don't get caught up too long. Because men get caught up with women. Caught up dealing with her, caught up trying to get her a chance, caught up trying to see if she gonna do something different than what she been doing. The answer is no. No. She won't. She the same person. She the same person. Y'all spinning the block with each other for no reason. Women the same way. Getting caught up with men for one reason or another. Caught up with men for one reason or another, trying to quote unquote stick it out. Maybe you quote unquote see potential. Maybe you see the money. Maybe you see what you're demonetized, whatever. But I've spent enough time, because y'all are going to see. So we're going to start it off. I'm going to go ahead and I got to share the screen in order to share the audio. But I'm also going to put my overlay on it. I just have a picture. That's not the same lady that's speaking all the time throughout. But I don't know how Hardly Initiated runs their stuff, whether they're strict with their content or not. Shout out to them brothers, because this is where this clip is coming from. So we just kind of got a little bit tad overlay on it. And he introduced these ladies, but it doesn't matter who they are or what they've been doing. She's going to start. He just asked her for context, and here she goes.
And we were actually best friends for, I want to say, about 8 years before we ever entered into a relationship. He was someone who always kind of wanted to be with me and made that known from the beginning, friendship phase. But I was always in a relationship. So he was friend zoned and probably should have remained in the friend zone. But, But yeah, we were together for 7 years and it was an amazing relationship. He did some time before we ever entered our relationship while we were friends. He was incarcerated for a couple years.
Oh, wow.
And during that time, we bonded even more. And I was able to watch him go from being, a wild Atlanta young man to being a lot more disciplined, a lot more structured, a lot more, discipline and all the things that come with being incarcerated.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so day one of him being home, we linked up and I got to see in real time in person this level up, this changed man. And I was like, oh, you're not going nowhere.
Right.
Like, you are him.
Love and
Yes, this
friendship.
is perfect. Like you made all of the changes, all of the things that I was never attracted to when we were friends, the wild, the crazy, the going out, partying. All that was done. And I was just like, yeah, I could build with you. We can do amazing things together. Your head's on right. And let's do this. Let's do life together. And so from the minute he came home from prison, literally the next day, we were inseparable for 7 years. We now have 2 beautiful kids together. And that's that. So,
How old? Because I know this was 7 years ago. How old were you then when you guys first started dating?
I think I was like 27 when he first came home. Yep.
And so you really wasn't attracted to all that wild, because some of the ladies, they.
Now, to give further context to what's happening, you know what? I don't have to appear yet. To give further context to what's happening, she's saying that she knew this man, had been knowing him since they was in high school. She didn't like his wild craziness, like him running the street and stuff like that. Like, she's like, he's my friend. I like him. I got love for him. He always wanted me in a relationship, but she's trying to say that the only reason she didn't want him for a relationship was because of how he was living his life. Okay. So that's basically, that's essentially what she's trying to say. She's trying to say that she would have been attracted to him otherwise, but she didn't like all that street running that he was doing, clubbing, going out, this, that, and the third. And personally, I can roll with that because I never liked that kind of life. I was never a street girl personally myself. So I didn't like men that ran the street. I didn't like men that did that. Men that was always just ripping, running, clubbing, just everywhere. It seemed too chaotic for me. So even if I thought he was attractive or whatever, or if he wanted me in that way, I have rejected men for that reason. But the key is I rejected them. They were gone. So it's like, we don't have anything because your life is so hectic. And so you live with a completely different value set than me. I don't prize going out. I don't want to hit the club. I don't want to be in the street. I don't want to, I don't want to do that. You see what I'm saying? So that part I actually got. But he landed in jail, beloved. The life that he must have been in the street, because dudes that run the street all through their teens and 20s and they hardcore running the street, they're gonna find themselves in some type of trouble. It may not be ridiculous trouble that they can't come back from, but they're gonna find themselves in something, because you can't live that kind of wild, chaotic street life and nothing comes to you. Something's going to come to you. So he went to jail. That's the key. That's the key. He went to jail. He served some time. I don't know how much. What happens with most men when they go into jail? What do so many men do when they go to jail? They get real thoughtful. Don't they? They get real thoughtful. Some of them get real religious. Some of them think about all stuff they did, how they gonna change, and how they not gonna end up like that no more. And then this is horrible, and they can't believe they were so stupid as to get into this type of trouble where they gotta. And the reason they do that is because they ain't got nothing else to do. You got nothing but time. That's why they call it doing time. There's nothing but time. Time actually slow down to a certain degree. It stops because you're in this one place doing this one thing all the time with these same people, right? Now, some men, depending on what kind of man he really is, they say they ain't coming back and they don't come back. They do them little 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is. Usually they don't, them kind of men don't have no crazy time. They not doing 10 years or more, right? And they say, nope, I'm not going back to that. That I'm not going to do. I am not going to be a jailbird. So when I get out of here, I'm going to straighten myself up. I'm going to get myself together, and I am not going back into that jail. Some men do that. Some men do, and they don't. They do not go back. They change themselves. They do not go back. They find a different way to be. Something else that do not lead them back to that jail cell. Okay. I don't automatically, and I'm going to say this before I get back to her story. I don't automatically discount a Black man because he has been to jail, depending on why he was there and how long he was there. And the reason why I don't automatically discount this guy is because I know how the justice system in America is set up. There are men in there that's doing time and they ain't been doing, they ain't did nothing to nobody. There are men in there doing time for stupid stuff. And it's like, why you throw the book at him like that? Why you do him like that? You know, he was 16 when he did that. Yeah, okay, it was wrong. Okay, give him some punishment, but why you ruin his life like that? Don't do that to him. You see what I'm saying? I don't automatically, oh, you've been in jail. Oh, then you're the most horrible human being to ever walk the earth. Like I said, it depends on why you were there. How long were you in there? What was you doing? And are you a jailbird? Is you in and out? So that means you ain't learn no lesson. So we might do have to throw you away because you don't learn no lessons. You gets out and do the same thing. So Okay. So I don't be having, I don't got a stigma necessarily for particularly Black men that go to jail. Even if he wasn't completely innocent and they got him and, they caught him, he was 16, 17, he was a little stick up kid, or they caught him with some drugs, he was trying to slang them things, trying to be out there. Okay. If he get out and he figure it out and he don't make that his life, in and out the justice system, in and out of court, in and out of jail, in and out of somebody's jail cell, that's when I discount them. Because you in and out of a jail cell, baby, bye. But getting back to her story, whatever he was doing in them streets, this man she talking about, it led him to a jail cell. He did a few years in that cell. He came out. Now she wants him because he was talking that jail talk. I'm sorry, it's jail talk. Let's go back.
Kind of like the edge
Yeah.
on a guy.
No, by the time he came home from prison, I was done with like the whole bad boy thing. I had lived through many crazy situations and I was really ready to settle down. Like I was ready for family and I was ready to be a wife. I was ready.
You heard what she said. She had, now after saying she did not like a man, listen to what's going on. After saying she did not like men that was running around, running the streets, blah, 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 blah. She just said how she was in the streets as well. She might have been in the streets in maybe a little different way, a non-criminal way. But she was in them streets. Okay? Now, she said that they linked back up, I think, when she said that she was 27. So this is almost 30. Now she's ready to be a wife.
And not that I was rushing it with just anyone, but I had been single for like 6 months at the time. And I was just like, no, you're the one. Like you possess everything that I'm looking for. And I know you, I trust you. I've known you for so long. I've seen you in relationships. I really thought I felt like I had done my due diligence watching this person grow and develop into the man that he presented himself to be once he came home. And I was just like, this is it. Like God blessed me with not only my best friend, but someone who I've always had a love for. And now I'm ready for it to go beyond just like the friendship zone. And it worked out. You know, he had seen me through many relationships as well. And we really knew each other, like inside and out. We really, really got to form a solid friendship over the years. And I felt like this was the safest decision I could have ever been making for myself, for my future family. And I was excited. I was ready.
It's problematic. It's problematic. See, and this is what it was, Craig. This is what I'm saying. He said they don't know. Them dudes extra smooth with them bars. They get some stuff out them books, mix it with their swag, and them letters hit different. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. No, she's saying that she knew him from when they was teenagers. So that's what she mean by she watched him grow into this man, because this is a person that she had known for many years. Right? You have to wait to see what men are going to do. Particularly when they get out of jail. You have to wait, because they are secluded away from a lot of what's going on. They're on the inside. So a lot of the things that's the worldly stuff that's going on, they know have been taken out of that. They are not in that mix. Jail, from all accounts, jail and prison is a completely different environment than the outside society. They have a different set of rules, completely a different way to behave. It's a completely different culture, and it is not the same. So what he must do, the person that he must become in order to survive it without it breaking him, that's an interesting person. And I'm not saying he wrong for having to change into that person, because you'll do what you got to do to survive. Anybody would. Unless you've been there, I don't think you can judge it. But you have to wait until they come back out into functioning society, where everything when time starts moving again for them. And then when times start moving again for them, then you get to see how whether or not that time in prison changed them for better or worse. What did it do to them? This is why, even though I never discounted men that have been to jail, I also always said I would not be with a man who has spent more than 10 years or so in a prison, because he becomes, in my opinion, he become too institutionalized, and he can't. He even though he live in society, I don't think he can fully reacclimate again. The institutionalization after a decade, in my personal opinion, takes hold too much. That's just my personal opinion. He's been sitting in that cell too long, immersed in whatever the prison culture has to be, in survival mode for that long. And that's a long time. He may fundamentally change. And it might not be into a person that you want to deal with. Right? Right now, let me go ahead, and after these messages, we'll be right back, because I need all of you who are interested in keeping your skin looking its best, feeling its best, moisturized, and smelling so awesome. I need you to go click the link at the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Go get you some body butter. Go get you some, they got, not only do they have body butter, they have the lip balm, they've got face moisturizer, they've got deodorant, they've got incense, they've got all of the things to get a vibe going, in your home. The incense, get a good vibe going in your home. You take a bath, you come out, you put your deodorant on, that's aluminum free, by the way. You put your body butter on, moisturize yourself, and then, you know what I'm saying? You got it going on. So go to ashkicking.com and pick up your order. If this is your first order, please don't hesitate to use your promo code to get 10% off. The promo code is Crimson. All right. So once again, click the link at the top of the chat and get your order on its way today. I don't know how many likes I need, but I want y'all to, y'all a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to, go ahead and hit the like button for me. Thank you, John Teal. Say nobody else will take her serious. Bottom line, right? Please support Ash Kicking. That stuff is good. I'm not even gonna hold you. I wear it every day because I love body butter. Like, if I could have like stacks and stacks of body, which I have done that, by the way. Stacks of body butter, just like, ooh, which scent I'm gonna put on. Like, I literally do that. And this is wonderful. It's so creamy. I can't get over the texture of it. Like, it's super creamy. It's just like super creamy, but it's the perfect creamy, right? It's not clumpy. It's not runny. It's not sticky. It's like perfect. Thank you. Mark said bases are loaded, scores tied, bottom of the ninth, CC up at bat. You better believe it. Thank you so much. I do believe they have an unscented. I do believe they have an unscented body butter, because some people are quite sensitive to scents and oils and things of that nature. Jeremiah said, I spent 13 years in prison and my closest friends have all done 10 years or better. I will use this clip to make a video teaching moment. Yeah, it's just, that was I don't know which part of it you referring to, but that was just my personal opinion on being with me, like in a relationship that I've done 10 years or more in prison. Sometimes they are a little too institutionalized. It's certain things. They be coming out with like quirks and stuff. And not all the quirks are bad, but it does what they want prison to do to you. They want it to institutionalize you. They want it to fundamentally change who you are. Because that keeps the recidivism rate high. They don't really want you to actually rehabilitate and get better and learn your lesson and go back out there. They want you to come back and do even longer time. But we're going to go back to her because there are lots of things that I want you to hear. I really want you to hear her story.
I love that.
Now, I know after post-incarceration, you say he came back a lot more disciplined, very disciplined man. Now, what was his mindset? Was his mindset more of that marriage mentality or?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. He was just like, it was always you. Like, I always knew we would eventually, and I'm like, boy, you ain't know nothing. Cause I'm telling you, if you stayed on that path, it would have never been. Right. You came home a completely different man. And that's the only reason that we're in this position. So had he not made those changes, I was definitely unattracted to who he initially was, and seeing him evolve into the type of man that I look for. I felt so safe. And yeah, definitely.
I want to talk about that because obviously we know it ended up getting to the point where you guys, didn't end up getting married. But before that, some of those good things, right, that had you really attracted to him at that point in time, what was that?
Oh, man, he came home with a plan. He did. He came home with a plan. He had done a lot of, I don't know if it's considered like networking in prison. But he rubbed shoulders with a lot of solid people, and he just came home with a different mindset. He came home. It was one of the first times that, somebody was able to teach me about myself, doing all of the personal development and all the book reading he had did while he was locked up. I was so impressed. He came home telling me things about myself, psychologically, rehearsing things that he had read in books. And I was just like, wow, I didn't know I had that type of attachment, or I didn't know I was doing this, and that. So I was so attracted to that in him, to be able to teach me more about myself and be patient with me as I learned how to become a better woman in some of those ways. And just the plans that I knew he had for himself while he was locked up. He came home with like blueprints and notes and notebooks. And I was just like, oh, we going to the freaking moon one way or another. You and I, like, you have the right mindset. You're disciplined. You're blocking out the noise. And he came home ready to get his life back on track. And I was very much attracted to that. That's the same.
I'm really blown away by this because you in a 7-year relationship, you end up having children, but the show is for why you called off the wedding. So it never actually made it.
She has 2 children within a set. Okay, now I gotta come back to y'all. I gotta come back. Did you hear her? See, I don't want y'all to get caught up in the storytelling. Please don't get caught up in the storytelling. I need y'all to hear high and ease when it is spoken to you. Okay? Hear it and hear it well. Right? 7 years. Even if you are a man that went to jail for a couple of years, if you are an industrious man, if you really are a man that can get to business, and you are serious about not going back to whatever it was that landed you in jail, it does not take 7 years to do it. That it does not take. Lesson for ladies that's listening to this, because I know how some of y'all just got affected. Well, what's going on, Crimson? Well, what was so wrong with them? Let me tell you. In a situation like hers, know what she was supposed to do? Since she knew him, and I'm saying it's only because she knew him prior to jail. She didn't meet him in jail. She knew him prior to. When he get out and he talking in a way that you like, he's speaking in a way that you like, that is attractive to you, in terms of he's speaking like he want to be married, he's speaking like he's got his head on straight, he talking like he really got stuff going on. Okay, that's fine. Do not get into a relationship with him. Don't get into the relationship with him. You friend zone him for all them years, you can do it again. And you don't necessarily got to just friend zone, but what you do is you don't get into no relationship with it. You watch them. You carry on about your life. And you watch, and when I say watch him, I don't mean give him some type of ultimatum or give him some type of time frame and then y'all can be together. No conversation like that. Nothing. Not a single conversation in that strain. Because his getting his life together doesn't have anything to do with being with you. Nothing. Those are two different things. Him getting his life together doesn't have anything to do with being in a relationship with you or anybody else. So if you're that interested, if it's that serious for you, because I know it's a bunch of ladies that's probably in a similar situation in this lady, and you raring to get into these relationships and all of that type of stuff, just sit down. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do anything. You don't do anything. You can be nice. You could have the relationship, the friendship you've been having. You not get into no romantic relationship with him. Just leave it. Because he gonna do what he gonna do. And it'll have nothing to do with you. He has things that he has to sort out for himself. He has got to focus on getting his life together, whatever that means to him. However long that take him. In whatever way he's going to do that. In whatever time frame that he's going to do it. If he does it, you don't know what he's going to do. And I'm saying that from the most neutral place. You literally don't know what he's going to do. Because when you get into a relationship, you have expectations in a relationship. Relationships come with expectations. And you're going to expect him after a while. Because see, the timetable going to be working in your head, not his. So if you get into a relationship with him after a year or two, a year and a half, 2 years, and he's not where you think he should be, you're gonna start getting mad. She gonna tell you in a minute how she started nagging him. You're gonna start getting mad. We might do overtime, I don't know. Or it might just be a part 2. This may be a part 2. You're gonna start getting mad because you're gonna be trying to figure out, well, why come you ain't did this like this? And why come this time frame? And I thought you said we was gonna be at this point in time. And if it doesn't work out, the way he said it was gonna work out or whatever, and the timeline is too far gone, you're not gonna like that. That's why you don't get into the relationship, because there's expectations in relationships. And no matter how delusional, no matter how much of a hyena, no matter how whacked out the female is, she always, quote unquote, know what the man's supposed to do. Do you understand? No matter who she is and what she do or don't do as a woman, these chicks always, quote unquote, know what a man is supposed to be doing. And she not going to let you not do that. Do I need likes up? Because I have not seen my likes. Because this, we may do a little overtime and a part 2. You never know. You never know. Because there was a lot said in this video, not just from her. Hit the like button. Share the show. If it's valuable to you, if you like this channel, we going back.
To marriage.
No.
Wow. Okay. So we gotta open that up.
So now it lets me want to understand now, where did things start to go left?
To be honest with you, I think it was the pressures of what comes with being home after being incarcerated. I think a lot of people have the best,
So good.
you know, they mean well, you know, they get locked up and they're forced to sit down and be disciplined and study and work out and work on their diet and just do all those things because you have nothing better to do. And then you come home and, you know, you get
you're free.
You know, you get and you just get a lot more attention. You feel like, okay, I have to live up to a certain standard. You know, before he went to prison, he was living very well. Had certain things, cars, nice place, you know, and you come home to the bare bones of nothing and you're just like, how long is this going to last, you know? And I think people underestimate that process of getting acclimated back into society and the pressures that come along with that.
That's so real.
And so I think that, you know, for me, I was very business minded at the time. I knew that I was a celebrity makeup artist. So I wouldn't say I was in the full blown entrepreneurial realm yet. I was still, you know, working really, really hard to make ends meet for myself. And that hustle, that ambition that I had, he definitely had that as well. But being that he had no skill sets, like not to say it in a negative way, but all he knew was the streets. That's the life that he had chosen up until he came home. And I didn't really think enough about that. You know, I didn't think enough about that. I just thought, you know, anybody can change, anybody can learn new things. But when you're 30 years old or whatever, maybe 26 at the time for him, it's like, if you don't have any skills outside of the streets, you can come home with all of these aspirations, but are you willing and humble enough? And are you willing to embrace that humility enough to go back and become a student and start at ground zero while your friends or the people, you know, you've always known from the streets are thriving and still out here flashy with it. And now here you are in a book or on a YouTube tutorial. It's not cute. It's not sexy. It's not... You know, you got your friends blowing up your phone like, hey, bro, I got a lick. And you sitting here pausing a YouTube video where it's like, it's not everybody is built like that, you know? Right. And I think that the temptation of life and the society and having desires to always be that male figure, that leader, and you got with a very ambitious woman as well, who also aspires to have certain things for herself. And so I think just the stress of trying to do things the right way, but also maintain a level of leadership in the family just became very challenging. I started my business primarily because I wanted to save my man from going back to prison is really what it boiled down to. I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. I feel like I was forced into entrepreneurship because there were no open doors for him.
Wow.
And yeah.
So that's interesting because I could see how that process of trying to pretty much change your life, figure out
I want to talk to the ladies about that, about what we just heard. I want to talk to the ladies about that. What we just heard her say. She said she had gotten into the entrepreneurial space by being a celebrity makeup artist. I got some issues with it being celebrity makeup artist because how you struggling with the money, but you a celebrity makeup artist because you got to work your way up to makeup artistry for the celebrities to, notice you and want you to do their face. We're not going to talk about it. But she said that she was doing the entrepreneurial thing to be a makeup artist and at first she said that she was just making ends meet for herself doing that. And then she says that she was doing all this hustling and all of this type of stuff to save him because there were not many doors open for him after having been a convict. And coupled with the fact that this is a man that did not have any particular skill set that he was going to be able to utilize to be able to fulfill the stuff that he said he wanted to fulfill. Let me tell the women something. This is what I meant when I would say on the live streams. There's a difference between a man with a vision and a dream. There are men that have vision, and then there are men that have dreams. We don't like dreams. Vision is what you go for. Now, how do you tell the difference? Because it sounds the same. A man with a dream and a man with a dream, a vision and a dream. Sounds the same. Sounds like it's the same thing. It is not. Men that have dreams are men that don't have a plan nor a way to achieve the things that they say they want. They do not have any plan of attack for this. None. They do not even have, listen to me carefully, they do not even have the raw materials as a man to acquire the skill to make the dream turn into a vision so he can do it. They do not have the raw material as a man to acquire what they will need to make a dream into a vision and then achieve it. That is an entire process for men to go through. Men who dream only, no vision. He doesn't have the raw material as a man. What's the raw material as a man? You don't see the innate leadership. Because there are men with innate leadership. He might even be a young man. I've seen teenage boys with this. Do you understand me? I have seen teenage boys. I have witnessed teenage boys with innate leadership. The only thing he don't have is life experience to hone his leadership and make it better. But the raw material of leadership is in him. That's there. His raw foresight is there. He doesn't have the life experience to have honed that. But the raw material is there. You can see it in his eyes. Do you understand me? It emanates out of his soul. The raw material. What do he value right now? What do he value? I don't mean what do he like right now. That changes. Teenage boys like Fortnite. You understand? At 35, he not gonna like Fortnite. I don't care what he like right now. That's gonna change with his age and his life experiences. What do he value right now? I've witnessed this. My older brother is a perfect example. The raw material of his manhood I was witnessing when he was he's only 5 years older than me. When I was like 10 or 11, he was on like 15, 16. I saw it. I saw that. The raw material, the mind. I understood the way his mind was working. So when he would turn to me and say, I'm going to make it out of here. I'm not going to be in the hood. I'm not going to be doing this, that, and the third. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing none of that. I believed him. I believed him. How old did I say? He's only 5 years older than me. Where you get 65 from? You think I'm 60 years old? I saw it. I saw the ethic. The work ethic was already up there. The amount of studying, getting up early, the drive was in him. It was in his soul. It was burning in him. I saw it. It proved out. His life proved it out. The way he lived his life proved it out. Everything he said he was going to do, he did it. I watched him go over obstacles. I watched him in real time. The raw material of a man is in him when he young. He do not gain that when he 30 or 40. No. It refines as he get older. It refines. He got it in him when he young. Before he even know what to do with it, it's in there. Men who have them kind of qualities, that level of leadership and masculinity is already in his soul. Everything he do is a reflection of that. Similarly, this is why I say lions are born, lionesses are born. We only hone that, we only sharpen that knife, we only sharpen that sword, but that sword is there. The lioness is born. She always had that level of femininity to her. She always had that level-headedness to her. She always had that regality to her. She always had that intelligence to her. She always had that. It was always in there. It was always there. The woman was always there, even in the girl. The woman was in the girl, just like the man was in the boy. When you a lioness and you know you always been a lioness, you know you always been her. You have always been her. You may get sidetracked a little bit, but you always was that. As a young girl, the men saw the woman. Now they didn't make a move, but they sure used to let me know they knew it. Because I'm telling you, I would be 16, I'm 16, 17, 18, men in their 30s, sometime their 40s. And it wasn't just because I was so young. It wasn't just because I was so fine. No. All of them had the same conclusion that they had come to. You're a wife. You are a wife. You're a woman. I see her in you. Whoever gets you gonna get somebody. Because if I was any ways younger, I would be trying to get you. Do you understand that? I would be trying to get you. I had men in their 50s and 60s. If I was a young man, I would be talking to your daddy about you. I'm an old man now, but if I was a young man, and when I was young, I didn't know how to really take that. I knew they meant well, but I didn't know what to do with that. I got that all the time when I was a young girl. Are you a wife? You somebody's wife, ain't you? Like, what is that? Anything from telling me that to telling me I had an old soul. It's like talking to a woman. Why are you like this? Lionesses can attest. I know y'all got it, especially lionesses in my age group. I know y'all used to get that when y'all was young. And the young lionesses, I know y'all are experiencing that. Older men that's not even, they ain't even sexual with it. They just know it. They just be like, nah, you. I'm not spinning off. I promise you I'm not. She sat there and told everybody that she was willing to follow this man on a dream he did not have. 7 years. First of all, it don't take 7 years for no man to get his life together if he's serious about it and marry you if that's what he's trying to do. When a man put his mind to something and he dead serious, he's serious as a heart attack about getting that thing or these few things accomplished, stop falling for someday I'm gonna do, ladies. Do not do that. Man, one day, be careful of a man that always talking about one day what he gonna do. Men with vision and plans do not say one day he gonna do. X out the one day part. And he will tell you, I'm going to That's what I'm going to do. Visions come from purposes. Purposes come from his spiritual value. Vision comes from purposes. Purposes come from his spiritual value. Dreams are aimless and directionless. And they do not have a spiritual value nor a purpose connected to them. Dreams are aimless, directionless, and purposeless. They do not have any spiritual value nor purpose attached to them. So all y'all sitting here in a relationship for 5 years waiting on what he might do and what he gonna do one day, I'm sorry to have told you that you have just wasted your time, especially if you got some kids from that. It would behoove a lioness to understand the difference. Hyena males dream all day. Lions have visions that they work on all day. He got to have a reason why he want to do what he want to do. Don't just listen to him say what he want to do. Ask him why he want that. Why do you want to do that? Just out of curiosity. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want that? Man, I want me millions of dollars. Okay. Why? Why I don't want that? What you mean what I want that for? Everybody want to be rich. Everybody want to be rich. Because when I asked my husband why he wanted what he wanted, he told me why he wanted it. He didn't get on the defensive. Well, why? What you mean? No, he knew exactly what I meant. He proceeded to tell me, I want to do this because of this. And the reason behind why he wanted it is spiritual. So it is a purpose based in his spiritual value. I need the women to know the difference between a dude that's just talking, spitting game at you, saying stuff that you want to hear because he know you want to hear it. What better person to spit game at her than her friend that done watched her be in relationships, that done heard her say what she really want, and then to come out and be exactly that thing right out of jail. Put a 1 in the chat if we understood what I was just saying. Put a 2 if you need me to recap that. Okay. I wonder if I should keep going. We'll make this into a part 2. 2 for the overtime. We're going to do a little bit more of her. This has got to be a part 2 because there were so many different points. I didn't even get to all the points that I wrote down to say. So this is, I'm going to do a little bit more of her, and then we're going to do a part 2. I got a lot of content that I want to go over this week.
New way to get money, figure out a new way to be a provider, change your values, all that's.
Uh-oh. What'd I do? Go back. I hate when I do that.
Yes. And
Wait, what was up? What was up with that? Why did I do that? Okay.
So we know too.
Trying to get a.
You're what, 30 years old or the same?
I'm really blown away by this because
You're what, 30 years old or whatever, maybe 26 at the time for him. It's like if you don't have any skills outside of the streets, that we were going to live a life with integrity. And even though we had done crazy things in the past, we were ready to turn a new leaf and embark on this journey, whether it was going to be a slow race to success or whatever. I was ready to build and take my time with it and be humble and not have the best of the best. I was willing to downgrade my lifestyle for my situation, and yeah.
So what did the proposal eventually look like? Because did he, formally get on a knee? Did he like
did.
what? He got on a knee to ask you for your hand in marriage.
Yes, it was 5 years into the relationship, and it was on my birthday.
Is it before kids or?
I had one at the time. I want to say, yep. And I Yep, I had one at the time. I had my son shortly after that. And yeah, it was everything that I thought I wanted. But I will say that the proposal came at a time where it was rocky in our relationship. And I did feel like he was doing it to save the situation.
Wow.
Yeah,
It was a
'cause
strategy.
yeah, it was a strategy. It
Okay.
for sure was, in my opinion. I feel like he had turned me into a nag. He had turned me into a lot of the things that in my mind, I was already like, if this is going to be forever, I'm not signing up to
Can't
be,
do this, right?
that's not what this was supposed to be. You know, I thought I was entering a partnership with someone who wanted the same things I wanted, not someone that was going to be constantly having to hold accountable and remind you of my boundaries and my triggers and the things that were non-negotiables for me that I laid out very specifically. You know, it seems like, he made a choice, and it was to pursue some of the things that I was very front and center about being not for me. And so him making the choice to take on certain things after leaving the street life behind, the thing that rose to the top was gambling. And that was just a very strong non-negotiable for me from day one.
Wait, so all of these things built up
Yeah.
till pretty much a gambling issue.
It built up into a gambling vice. For me, it was definitely an issue. For
Gotcha.
him, he doesn't see it as an issue. So,
I wanted it to get to that part for everybody. And I think that this is where we're going to leave a little bit of a cliffhanger. I'm tired. You know what I'm tired of? You chicks doing? Having babies for men that's not worth marrying. That's what I'm tired of. I'm tired of you chicks having babies with men that are not worth marrying in your estimation. He proposed, but she felt like it was to save the situation. Then reveals that he had a gambling monkey on his back. Sis. You had 2 children with a man that within a 7-year span, first of all, you had these children prior to a marriage. You never did get into the marriage. So really, should you have had 2 children? So you accepted being a baby mama. To a man that you just sat here and told everybody that you was in a constant state of having to remind him of the boundaries, having to remind him of what he was supposed to be doing, having to remind him about the things that were non-negotiable to you. The other thing I'm tired of you chicks doing. If something is a non-negotiable, can we let that end the negotiation, please? It's called a deal breaker because it breaks the deal. But y'all just be saying stuff break a deal, but y'all don't be breaking no deals. Cheating is a deal breaker. No, it's not. Because you be going back, you be spinning the block with this dude over and over and over. So cheating is not a deal breaker. You don't leave. You get mad and will not let that man cheat in peace. Which is what you ought to do because you didn't leave. I'm a big proponent of if you're going to stay, you can't complain. If you're going to complain about it, then you have to leave. Because if things are not going to change, if you have done everything that you can do to help rectify a situation that is going left, you have worked and you've tried in a good way, not in a I'm gonna beat you over the head with it kind of way, then and it don't work, then you may just have to chuck the deuces on that situation. Okay? Allah hate divorce, but he created it for a reason. because sometimes it's necessary, right? People be doing stuff, people get on stuff, and it become unsustainable. A relationship is not sustainable now at this point. Addictions is one of them things, in my personal opinion. Because if you have ever lived with a person with an addiction, crack, drinking, gambling, them addictions, that's a no-go. We're not doing addictions. Because that fundamentally changes that person. Those addictions changes that person. That person, all the stuff that go along with being addicted. That is not the same person, male or female. They're not the same person. The person that's not on drugs versus the person they become on drugs, completely different people. You may not even recognize that person. But people that have addictions often have other things that precede the addiction itself. They show you different red flags that you can kind of see them getting on crack. You can kind of see them getting a gambling monkey. You can kind of see them being a drinker. Because one thing, you can't love nobody out of addictions. You cannot. It's not possible. That is not possible. People that get steeped in addictions have to find their own way out of the addiction. You cannot love them out of it. There is no amount of being a lion and leadership that's going to lead a chick out of some addiction. There's no amount of being a submissive, wonderful lioness that's going to get an addicted lion back on the pride rock. It's not going to happen. Not. He has to do it on his own. She has to do it on her own. So you couldn't bring yourself to marry this man because of the red flags, but you was able to bring yourself to birth children in the midst of these red flags. I'm gonna need y'all to knock it off. I'm gonna need y'all to knock that off. Knock that off. Knock that all the way off. Because y'all get around here and y'all spit a baby out like a spitball, like a Pez dispenser. You just having them. And then the same man that you done laid up with, spent all this time with, pour all of this energy into. And then when he roll around to say, will you marry me? Now all of a sudden, all of them red flags that you've been ignoring, now all of a sudden they come to the forefront and you can't deal with him in that level of relationship. Y'all playing house anyway. If it was that serious, if his red flags was that serious, which they were, and you ignored them, you should have left this relationship a long time ago. This is why I be talking about women be wasting their own time. Wasting their own time. You cannot, there's a few things you cannot do. You cannot change a man. You cannot. I don't care what kind of kitty cat you think you got. I don't care what kind of cooking skills you think you got. I don't care what kind of mouthpiece you think you got, throat, goat. I don't care if you think you're submissive and you the highest level lioness. You cannot change a man from what he is to what you want him to be. He's either that or he ain't. He either that or he ain't. So there ain't no use in sitting around being disappointed. that he won't be this kind of man and that kind of man, and he won't get his act together. His act wasn't together when you got with him. Maybe you should have waited a little while. See what he was gonna do. You know, a lion got to prove to a lioness he can be a lion of that pride. Just because he killed that other alpha lion, that ain't the end of that. I hope y'all know that. Just because he killed that other lion or run that other lion off, that don't guarantee that them lionesses ain't finna jump him. Because if it's a big pride, about 5, 6, 7 lionesses, yeah, you got him. But now we gonna see what you do. You is you Mufasa or is you Scar? Because if you Scar, we jumping you. I want to see what you do. Because you came over here real big and bad. Okay. But that lion was old. He was on his way out anyway. So come over here acting a fool. You ever seen other lions be disrespectful and get their pack in trouble? Get the pride in trouble? I done seen them do it. Always crossing over into another prize territory. Now we in a prize feud. You a line stepper, huh? We gonna jump you. You don't got no good leadership. We jumping you. Y'all having these kids, but you will not marry the men that you have. And y'all don't want to face it. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. You don't do better than your baby daddy. In so many ways, you don't do better than your baby daddy. You really don't. Because this is the man that you chose to recreate in your womb. Y'all don't get the level of that. This man. You want this man. You recreated him in your womb like 2, 3 times. Then when he say, let's get married, and all of a sudden, now I can see clearly now the rain is what happens? And then he started gambling. Baby, he was doing that before. And you got to watch them vices. Ain't no such thing as smoking a little crack. Ain't no such thing. It's just I smoked a little crack. No, fam. So you put the pipe up to your mouth and sucked it or whatever they do to it. Oh, baby, bye. That's it. Don't let you go in that gambling house and win you a little bit. Gambling monkey. That's just like shooting up a little bit. I just shot up a little bit. No. You don't shoot up a little bit. No. This gonna definitely have to be. Because I ain't even got to the other ladies, y'all. It's gonna have to be a part 2. Let me get to the super chats. I'm gonna have to cut it short because, like I said, I have not even gotten to the notes that I wrote. I wrote so many notes to this. It's gonna be all the men's fault, right? This is his fault, correct? Gambling, led her on, didn't really have a plan. You realize she's telling the story from the standpoint that this is his fault. That she was just trying to be the best woman and save her man, and this is why she was working so hard, and this is why she was trying to tell him. She gonna say it several times. I was trying to show him a better way, and I was just trying to help my man, and I was just trying to do all of this stuff for him. This is all his fault. Let her tell it. Not her fault for overlooking every red flag that could possibly be. Not her fault for having kids out of wedlock and ain't seen man, ring, hide, nor hair of a wedding or marriage. Not her fault. Not her fault for knowing he wasn't nothing but a little street dude. Then he got in jail. Then he came back out and still hadn't learned nothing. How you been in jail and you still ain't learned? You were serious about turning your life around. You ain't learned no skill set. They got you a little skill set. You can go to school. If you want to do that, you go trade. I know men to be in jail come out with a whole, they know how to do construction. They be knowing how to lay brick and stuff. Roofing, they be knowing how to do. You mean to tell me he could, even if he didn't do nothing in jail, you mean to tell me he couldn't come out and get him a CD, get his CDL license and drive a truck, something. Men figure stuff out when that's what they want to do. When that's what men want to do, they do that. And they don't need no woman to be constantly in their ear to do it. Because he gonna get himself together for him. Now you can be there, he don't mind that, but whether you there or not, he ain't going back over in there. So you can just ice that. So he gonna be figuring out what he can do. Whether it's work with his hands or work with his mind, or however he gonna figure out some kind of work. We ain't judging what he do. Just so long as it's got a purpose driven, it's purpose driven. So on that note, jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. There shall be a part 2, maybe even a part 3. We're going in this week on women fumbling these relationships and on the basis on which they do that, which is ridiculous. All right? All right, then. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.